This podcast contains strong language, sexual themes, and explicit content. The following opinions are meant as comedy, dark, horrible comedy, and are intended for a mature audience. If you are easily offended, listening to this podcast could cause anger, spasms, herpes, stroke, an uncontrollable sense of self-righteousness, and angry grammar-fucked emails. Welcome to SchlockTalk.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker!
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my God!
Estrogen levels peaking. It's like she's in heat.
When are you gonna grow up, man? Chicks love cars. If you want to get into their pants, you better have a nice, hot Ferrari.
She's my hot Ferrari. Besides, I love my Mustang, which is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 100 mpg.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Out of my eyes!
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the SchlockTalk podcast, watching movies with people putting sticks in other people's buttholes since 2013.
Oh. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm currently unbearing a stick from my ass, but we'll talk later.
So, last time around, Craig took issue with me introducing him in a relationship to our placement within the room. And so I decided to mix things up this week. I'm going to introduce everybody based on penis size.
Fuck.
We all had a lot to drink after the last recording. And while we were watching episode 2's movie, which we'll get here in a bit. Anyways, things got a little out of hand. I took each of the crew into the bathroom and measured everyone. And then myself. I couldn't figure out what to do with the data I collected, and then I had a brainstorm while I was driving the other night and thought we could go around the room and introduce everybody based on the findings. We'll start with Paul.
So what order are we going in here?
Oh, we'll get there. Oh, wait, well, so Paul.
Are you sure I go first?
This could be either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
My dog's female and she beats
I'm at
Paul.
one end
Come
of the spectrum.
Alan. I'm Gabe, and then we have Craig.
Oh, I think we know the order of things now.
I am hung like a gnat.
So
Thank you.
Well, hold on.
And
let me
I feel
see.
sorry for Paul, because...
You know what? I didn't. It doesn't look like I wrote down all of the data, so I don't know if that was biggest to largest or largest to smallest.
Biggest to largest. That sounds good to me. That makes me feel a hell of a lot better than any other method we're using.
But...
How about smallest to embarrassing?
It's more likely.
It looks like the difference between the biggest member in the room and the smallest was over 8 inches.
That's pretty significant.
So, sorry guys, again, I was pretty ripped, and I don't remember who's who.
Are you sure you were measuring the right appendages?
We'll have to get back to it next time.
That circus midget said she felt friction. I'm pretty sure I'm okay.
Before we get to the intro of the movie here today, I felt like I kind of needed to apologize about something I said at the last podcast.
Yeah.
We were recording the last episode, it got a little out of hand.
Technically, the last one's going to be the pilot.
The pilot episode. The long last pilot episode. I said something I kind of regret. I felt like I should apologize. I overstepped. I crossed the line. And I want to be able to impress on the listeners how sorry I am. During the pilot episode, I referred to Paul as an ardent homosexual.
Yeah, I accept your apologies, Dave.
Well, I guess I should apologize to you as well, Paul. Although, I have to admit, I was a little offended. I mean, this is 2013. You would think, just getting a little jab being called gay. Be a little more open-minded, please, Paul, in the future. Can you do that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with being ardent.
So, Paul is an ardent homosexual, but he has a wife and 4 children. So, just want to put that out there. And shipped 4 cats.
Don't
And a
forget the
fish
bunny.
called Blowy.
Let me tell you where he got that name.
I have 3 chickens.
We should get together.
Anyway.
Barnyard fun gone too far. Carry on.
Thank you, Paul. And now let's get on to tonight's movie. It's Entrails of a Beautiful Woman. It's a Japanese production directed by Kazuo Komisu. It's a crime thriller horror movie from 1986. In an ideal world, film, like all art really, helps us to learn and discover more about the world around us. Unfortunately, with a movie like Entrails of a Beautiful Woman, the only thing we learn is that our worst suspicions about an entire country are verified over and over and over again.
What's wrong with you, Japan? What's wrong?
If there are truly any themes in this movie, they would appear to be rape, substance abuse, international crime, rape, white slavery, tentacles,
Off-white
rape,
slavery, right?
and rape. After watching the slightly more than hour-long mini-masterpiece that is Entrails of a Beautiful Woman, historical events like Pearl Harbor and the rape of Nanking begin to make more sense. If we come away from this movie with any positive educational experience at all, we could say that we have learned that the Japanese mob reaches out to offer jobs to the functionally retarded. Women are ably employed in the psychiatry/hypnotism industry. Sexual assault is not exclusively the domain of Japanese men. And most importantly, it would be considered gauche if one did not at least use a little saliva on the tip of the index finger to moisten the opening before forcefully buggering someone.
Forcefully buggering someone.
Yeah, I believe I read that in Emily.
Yeah, that's now entering my vocabulary.
And so, what do we do with this information? Podcast about it, of course, all while carefully treading the line between questionable overgeneralization about an entire culture and outright racism. I'm not saying you should make judgments about the whole population of a country based on one movie. I'm just saying that before you visit Japan, you should know that you can bring your rape whistle in your carry-on luggage, but you'll have to wait until you actually get there to buy your pepper spray. Oh, and neither one of them are going to do you any good. So, Paul, this movie opened up pretty quickly, but even the DVD menu on Entrails of a Beautiful Woman is fantastic.
Yes.
It has a scene from the movie where someone's head explodes all over the walls, and then the sub-menu of the special features features the masturbation scene.
Which masturbation scene?
The close-up masturbation scene? That's still probably not going to be...
Yeah, that's...
Is it the
still
one
referring to about 5 or 6 of them.
with the guy who makes me look hung, or is it different one altogether? Because that was sad.
So one thing I noted about the movie was it appears to be missing like the first 20 minutes of the script. If you notice, they jump in initially and they have the apparently underage girl in the, warehouse. Is that what they were in?
Well, the first 5 minutes is that guy eating.
Oh, yeah.
The guy comes in, just a dude with shoulder pads.
And it's like close-ups of him just shoveling it in with chopsticks. And
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah,
Really,
and
just
this,
to get you started, get your motor going or something. I don't know. Shit.
yeah, and this movie's barely over an hour long, and the first 5 minutes is just the guy sitting there noshing on organ meat.
We don't want to know what kind of organ goes into that meat. We're just going to let that slide.
And we know that because there's a big sign on the wall that says, "Amazing energy from organ meat." And I think this is actually it's a reference to what happens later on in the movie when we learn that this Yakuza boss cannot perform. I think that's why he's eating all the organ meat.
It could be. I mean, one of the big themes, if you can call it a theme, outside of rape,
Yes.
is impotence. And, so rape and impotence, they go hand in hand together. I don't know how.
wow.
And so they don't really say any of the mobster guys' names. So I think he's White Dress Shoes. So we can refer to him as White Dress Shoes from here on out. And so after the organ meat eating scene, probably the best organ meat eating scene in cinema history.
Well, if you're excluding porn.
Yeah. It switches to the inside of the squalid warehouse. I think Joel pointed out, or possibly a Japanese game show. Where we find a woman being repeatedly raped by the last airbender and extra chromosome Jackie Chan.
Well, and Mr. White Shoes, like before they rape her,
Yeah.
got her up against the wall. Mr. White Shoes comes up and he grabs her boob, but it's like in the most non-sexual way at all, and then he turns it like it's a volume down.
And again, this girl has like the breasts of a 13-year-old boy, so it's like the world's worst mammogram was something going on at that point in time. It was a little bit sad.
And then the mattress that they raped this girl on many times looks like it was drugged through a Times Square subway station circa 1976 and then flown to Japan for the explicit purpose of forcible intercourse.
It's called ambiance, kid. Ambiance. You gotta set the mood. It's gotta be a warehouse. It's gotta smell like shit.
Yeah,
There's
those
gotta be a
blood stains don't
mattress.
come cheap.
Yeah. So, and Paul, I think he pointed out that it actually looked like he was trying to extract her heart, like Temple of Doom style.
Kalima. Kalima.
And so, White Dress Shoes, who's like the head of the Yakuza gang in the movie, he feels sorry for this girl, and so he gives her some.
He feels sorry for her.
He does. He does.
Yeah. I mean, there's a.
I just told those guys to gang right
had my
there,
guys rape you, but
Yeah.
as a consolation prize for our game show.
And one other point, though, before this, at one other point, I was rewatching the movie a little bit. They're having a discussion amongst themselves, the gangsters, and she's like, she gets up off the mattress and she starts to crawl towards them. Like that's her escape plan.
Yeah.
Thousands of years of Japanese culture.
Please oppress me more, please.
So White Dress Shoes gets a syringe full of what looks like piss, and tells her that he's going to inject her with Angel Rain. And he says, "Angel Rain, this drug is so special." And he injects her with it, and then she appears to be enjoying the rape after this.
Yeah, and there is a rape kiss that happens, and I just want to say, I think the guy might have had like a snail in his mouth, because when he pulled away, there was like, that was not saliva. There's this trail of ectoplasm.
And that's a recurring theme in Entrails of a Beautiful Woman, is people smearing bodily fluids all over their face.
That does happen quite a bit.
Yeah.
Paul's not talking about the movie at this point. This is everyday life.
Oh, yeah. In fact, do you have a paper towel?
No.
And so after she's injected with the Angel Rain, the victim appears to go to her happy place. But, you know, I was thinking, because this is Japan, I'm pretty sure she was being raped in her happy place as well.
It's like Hello Kitty strapped one on and took her from behind in her happy place.
So there's a little bit of exposition while all the raping is going on.
Oh, yeah.
And the boss, and there's a gigolo character, and apparently he had seduced this girl's sister and then sold her to Africa.
Right, and they tell the girl this while she's being raped.
Yes.
It's like, while she's being violated, it's like, so what happened to your sister was the same thing, and then we sold her into sex slavery in Africa.
Are you turned on yet? Are you getting wet, baby? Yeah.
Wow, you couldn't have made this moment any worse for me. Thank you.
And so then the boss and the gigolo, and then there's a third kind of henchman. They all leave the warehouse, and she gets left with the Last Airbender and extra chromosome Jackie Chan. But then she promptly escapes.
Right.
Yes.
But before that, we should mention that one of the greatest special effects in the movie, when she takes the drug, suddenly, like, the veins on her arm become like Harry Potter scars.
Yeah.
There's some black toxin that just suddenly starts showing up.
And I think a good deal of the effects budget was spent on a leaf blower.
Yes.
Because there's close-ups of, like, her cheeks going, and, like, the loose flesh on her arms and inner thighs vibrating. And you can totally tell it's just being blown by, by air.
Yeah, like an air compressor. And so, all of the responsible members of the Yakuza gang leave the warehouse, and she promptly escapes.
Right, and the last thing the guy says to them, you watch her carefully.
Yes.
And then the next scene, she's like stumbling down an alley, so
Yeah.
we don't really know what
Reject
happened.
from the last Avatar movie.
Yeah.
Becomes,
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh,
do his job.
yeah. Oh, last Airbender and extra chromosome Jackie Chan. Shame on you. The only things I asked you to do were to rape and to guard, and you only did half your jobs. So she runs away and goes to an apartment complex or a business mall or something.
Isn't it?
Anyway, yeah, she finds the aquarium clinic and meets Yoshimi, who we find out in a little while is kind of the protagonist of our film.
Like there's anything heroic in this film.
And this all appears to be taking place in the middle of the night, so I'm not sure why she's working at her is it a psychiatric clinic?
For fish.
Because
Yeah.
fish never sleep.
Okay.
Why do you have a psych clinic at an aquarium? What the fuck?
There were so many...
My koi is feeling depressed.
There's so many shots of swimming fish during the various office scenes, I began to wonder if this wasn't a prequel for Finding Nemo.
Hopefully he stays lost.
I think it was a big inspiration for Pixar.
So the victim, and I don't think that we ever get that girl's name?
Rape victim number 1. I think
Rape,
it's on the
okay,
credits listed.
yeah, okay. She tells Yoshimi, and we never quite exactly learn what Yoshimi does. Apparently she's a psychiatrist, or a nurse, or a doctor.
She's a fish whisperer.
Okay.
Pretty much it, man.
The victim, she explains about the Yakuza kidnapping and her sister and selling her sister to Africa, and then runs out of the office and jumps to her death.
No, she didn't jump to her death. I clearly saw it. It was a watermelon. She jumped off the building, and you see a watermelon fall, and a watermelon splatters on the ground.
Yeah.
And so somehow she harmed fruit, and that was...
Well,
yeah,
I was thinking about that scene, and I realized, I believe it symbolizes the death of Japanese cinema. That's what the whole watermelon smash
They didn't even have the decency to stick a watermelon on a mannequin's body and throw it off the building. It's just a watermelon. Not a watermelon with a wig on. Nothing. It's just a watermelon. And Yoshimi, shame on you. The only things I asked you to do were provide medical care and to guard, and you only did half your job.
Well, they couldn't afford a wig because they bought the leaf blower.
It cost them too much.
And so after this, the next scene is with White Dress Shoes, the Yakuza boss, and his woman who, again, I don't think we get a name. Junkie Yakuza bitch? Is that what she is?
That sounds like...
Yeah.
She's a sad woman. I mean, we'll get to that.
She is the master hater.
Yes, she is. And so White Dress Shoes watches her masturbate, and then she sticks her butthole like right on his nose.
They were testing for breeze.
Yeah. And then he sticks his fingers into her, and then wipes her feminine moisture on his lips.
Wow. She actually like pulls the finger out and then lets him sniff it. And then she proceeds to like finger paint what looks like Wesson oil all over his face. It's all glistening, drippy.
See, the point about this that makes me so sad is, this woman is really sexually frustrated because she is the woman of this guy's White Dress Shoes' boss. And she has decided to cheat on him with an impotent man.
Yes.
What the fuck kind of sex life do you have where you leave a guy to go with a guy with a limp dick as your way to get pleasure? She is a sad, troubled woman. I'm just putting that out there.
So there's several scenes or several minutes of scenes of her filleting his flaccid schwanz.
Okay, all right. She's giving a blowjob, so it kind of looks like she's giving a blowjob to the silhouette of a herniated belly button. Really, that's what it looks like.
I thought it looked like a hot dog with a Smurf hat.
It wasn't a magic mushroom, I'll put it that way.
And so, up to this point, we referred to him as White Dress Shoes, but from this point forward, he's definitely limp dick shoulder pads.
Dick shoulder pads.
I was going to take that name.
And so, we now go to, the next scene is inside the bar that's owned by the Yakuza gang, and Yoshimi is there, and has tracked down the Gigolo character, and she immediately roofies him in the bar, and she takes him back to her clinic, and they start having sex, And he starts to go down on her, and she says, "I haven't taken a shower yet. I must stink." Which I thought was just one of the greatest lines in cinema history.
That's how those Japanese guys are, man. Those women, they don't be victimized, man. It's just, I stink, please rape me.
He doesn't care.
Sex is shameful.
He does not care. He goes down on her. And then she hypnotizes him?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was hypnotized by your nipples.
Yes.
Those are like pencil erasers. I've never seen anything like that.
I was hypnotized by the size of that man's dick, which I'm pretty sure could fit snugly between, I don't know, a pair of pliers. It's from top to bottom,
Your
fully
ass
erect. They can fit between anybody's ass cheeks. That dude was 1.5 inches fully erect. Okay?
Yes. So she gives him a hand job, which is apparently part of her mesmerization process. And he then proceeds to spray some high-pressure hand lotion all over his own chest. And for reasons not completely clear, she wipes that all over her face.
Yeah, that's an ongoing thing.
Yeah. Which she doesn't have to do. She's like trying to
She
get
wants to
revenge
prove to him, because at that point she's going to pull him out of the trance.
Okay.
So she's trying to prove that she just did that.
Wow.
Orally.
She couldn't have swallowed. I mean, if she said she swallowed, would you have taken her word for it? Does it really need to be that in depth?
She put a lot of thought into this.
I think she just felt the urge to wipe hand lotion / semen or whatever that was all over her face. It's just the way it goes.
So she goes back to the Yakuza office, or he goes back to the Yakuza office, the Gigolo, and he attacks the other members of the gang with a knife.
Yeah, because somebody calls him stupid, and that was like the key word.
No, the boss, Limp Dick Shoulder Pads, he says, "You are a lousy Casanova!" And then the last airbender stabs him with a car antenna. Which was also extremely unclear. Why does he just use like a knife?
He is retarded and.
So they take the Gigolo back to the warehouse and they chop him up into little bits.
Okay, then that looked like a scene from like a bad Benihana.
The worst Benihana. So Yoshimi goes back to the bar to find the other guys, and apparently the Yakuza gang is running a 1970s fern bar, bricks and ferns and piano, and we also kind of get a little bit better chance to meet the tallest fucking Japanese man of all time, who's Limp Dick Shoulder Pads' right-hand man, and so they inform Yoshimi at that time that everyone in the bar is a member of the gang, and so they kidnap her, and then guess what they do with her next?
Wait.
No,
Alan, we're gonna let you guess.
Alan,
this
you haven't
because
seen the
watched
movie. What do you think they do with her?
What happens to her?
I think they let her go and they give her a nice settlement for being mean to her.
Wrong.
That's clearly the direction this movie is going.
Yeah, sorry.
They pay for her to get a degree in women's studies. So in a hard left turn that no one saw coming, they decide to rape Yoshimi. And everybody joins in. So there's the last airbender, an extra chromosome Jackie Chan.
Okay, now this scene, if rape was a Special Olympics event, gold medal.
Yes.
I'm thinking silver. I don't know if they even quite gold.
And so Junkie Yakuza bitch even joins in. So heretofore known as Junkie Female Rapist. She forces Yoshimi to go down on her, and Craig, what happened when she did this to her?
They had pleasurable intercourse and everyone was happy.
No.
She pulled up some of the carpet.
She did.
That's right.
She did a little flossing.
She has pubes stuck in her teeth from this. And so Limp Dick Shoulder Pads again feels sorry for Yoshimi, and he gives her, gives her some angel rain. And again, we see the kind of flashes of the veiny latex special effect.
This is when the $12 for the leaf blower really paid.
Yes.
You can only afford to rent it.
And so he worries that he's given her too much angel rain, and because she appears to be dead. And so they pack her up into a truck full of body parts of the Gigolo guy, and they send the last airbender out to get rid of the bodies. He drives down to the river to toss them in, but Yoshimi is gone when he gets in the back of the truck. And at this point, we get our first view of the monster, which is 8 feet tall, inside out, and it proceeds to bend him in half.
Yeah. Now, I'm unclear at this point. Is this a combination of the two bodies?
That seems to be what it was. I mean, there was a pile of bodies, or body parts, my apologies, from Gigolo Man, who was sitting in the car, and there was this dead woman, the sashimi, the rape victim, the fish psychiatrist. She was in there as well. And then suddenly we have inside-out monster creature coming out and doing the rapies on people.
So we assume that Yoshimi is gone. We don't know really what's going on, but then she shows up like in Tokyo somewhere and is tracking down the tallest Japanese guy ever, the right-hand man of Olympic shoulder pads, and she brings him back to her clinic and proceeds to have sex with him.
And this leads to one of the greatest, I don't know if it's a mistranslation, this is one of the greatest dialogue moments in any film I've ever seen. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
During their intercourse, he asks her to make a question mark with your pussy. Which apparently she proceeds to do, because then he says,
It's hot.
I mean, I would have asked for an explanation.
Now, what struck...
There you go.
How about
hashtag?
How about some of them Arabic numerals, man? That'd be some interesting shit.
Or just onomatopoeia. So what struck me about this scene was there's some sexual positions that were clearly filmed on like another plane of reality, where the laws of physics and three-dimensional Euclidean geometry no longer apply.
Oh yeah, there's like a scene where her ass is like up in the air.
And so is her
But then
face.
she's like off, yeah, she's kind of like off to the side, giving him oral. It looks like she's, I don't know. I said I thought that this position was the square root of 69. Craig. Craig.
God damn it, we have to go back to the 69 comments again.
For those of you that haven't heard, and that's everyone, we reviewed a movie last week, and that recording didn't turn out so well, but one of Gabe's jokes was there was scenes of 69 that you could tell were not actually happening, and so we referred to them as 68. She's 68ing.
And much like he's laughing right now, he seemed to find it funny last time, too. Which
I still stand by it, and I want to say that Alan did chuckle about that. Although he was probably just chuckling at me. I get that.
No, that's funny.
No, it's not. No, it's
It's that soft.
Can I get that
where you're like, you want to see it? No. Not going to happen.
So, we don't really see the next scene in the movie, but she kills the tallest man in Japan and peels his Yakuza tattoo skin off of his back.
Martha Stewart's that motherfucker into a lampshade like you
Yes.
wouldn't believe.
Well, that's how she gets into the crazy, the horror's house, where she holds the tattoo up.
Yes. Yeah, she holds the
Because that's how the guy's he's gonna rip off his shirt and jump up to put his back up to the eye hole.
Come in.
She knocks on the door, and the junkie Yakuza bitch looks through the eye hole and sees that she's holding the tattoo up to the eye hole, and so she lets her in.
The world's tallest Japanese man.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's less limp than my current boyfriend.
And so she opens the door, and who's at the door but the 8-foot-tall abomination? She comes into the junkie female, the 8-foot-tall inside-out abomination, I should say.
Right.
She goes into the female junkie rapist house, and we're getting ready to get to one of the greatest movie scenes of all time. I just wanted to kind of put that out there. It's my favorite movie scene ever, but we'll get to that.
That says a lot about you.
Yes, we'll get to that. But we find out at this point that, I don't know, Big Red? What's a good name for this creature?
The creature's dick or the creature itself?
Both.
Inside out fanged cock is what I come up with.
Big Red has a 12-inch toothed tentacle between his legs.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
Junkie female rapist is totally into what he's packing.
Well, you know what? If you've been sleeping with one guy who wasn't good enough for you, so you went to a limp dick guy instead, this is fucking Nirvana coming your way right here. 12-inch monster dick.
If you ever want to see a woman give head to what looks like a blind moray eel, this is the movie for you.
And I gotta say, I haven't seen this movie, so I'm scrolling through the website looking at normal pictures. And all of a sudden, there's a lady sucking this giant dick on my screen. And I have kids, man. I need to be warned of this garbage.
Don't let your kids go to our websites.
Yes.
No, the key is don't open this website during the day.
And so, Paul, when we were watching the movie, you said one of the greatest lines of all time when she starts sucking off this tentacle.
What did I say?
It's right there.
Oh my god. You're making me read.
No, I had my finger on it. Down at the bottom there. So she's sucking off a 12-inch tentacled, betoothed penis.
And I ask, are we sure this is a Japanese movie?
What could be more Japanese
to which Joel responded,
was Jim Henson involved in this movie?
Pretty sure it was Frank Oz.
Yeah, I think that was the one it was there.
Since some
and so
thrusting.
Please, fuck me your will.
And so, female Yakuza junkie rapist lady begins to have intercourse with Big Red. And I should note that during the DVD extras, the interview with the director tries to take credit for the chest burster scene from Alien.
Which happened 10 years prior.
7, but yeah. And also, during the interview, I'm pretty sure we figured out that he's being interviewed while working in an adult bookstore.
Was it not a porn shop in general?
That's what it looked like to me, and every, 3 or 4 seconds, the door alarm goes off. So, this guy's clearly fallen on some hard times, and at one point asked to go ahead if he could direct another movie. He, asked the people interviewing him. And so, Limp Dick Shoulder Pads comes back to the house. Just almost inhaled my lozenge. He comes back to the house and he finds crazy Yakuza bitch dead in the shower with her guts hanging out.
Are you okay, Gabe?
I'm not. I'm having really difficult recall problems right now. And so Big Red comes out, from behind a door or something?
All of a sudden it's just there and clothes hangers and...
Yeah. And so he gets knocked down or falls onto a couch. And now I just want to say there are a lot of famous scenes in movie history. Rosebud.
Once again, we're not doing porno.
There are a lot of famous scenes in movie history. Rosebud. This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Squeal like a pig. But this is my favorite movie scene of all time. At this point, Limp Dick Shoulder Pads is cornered. He's on the couch, and we have a close up of what did we a tooth tentacle penis? What is it?
Giant fanged dick. I don't know if we need to be all that much more dramatic about it.
The moray eel.
The blind moray eel with teeth.
Yeah, and so...
Well, they all have to. Fuck that. Okay, go on.
In defiance of all that is real and good, Big Red's tentacle dick sucks up into his body cavity, creating a new, slightly more feminine erogenous zone. And the monster...
It pretty much is like a giant anus at this point.
It's a vagina, but on the outside.
It's supposed to be a vagina, but it really does.
Inside-out vagina.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the kind. Listen, this is the kind of stuff David Cronenberg dreams about, but is afraid to actually put in a movie. And so the monster places his or her glistening, incandescent vagina on his face and smothers him to death with it.
No, inserts. There's an insertion here.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the head goes up.
Disappears.
And so this is already pretty great, obviously. But then when Big Red pulls up off of Limp Dick Shoulder Pads, she leaves glossy, steaming rivulets of feminine moisture all over his mug. And he got pussied to death.
It's like Slimer from Ghostbusters.
I want you guys to think about that gaping opening for just a minute.
No, can we not?
Because I read that's where Goatsy got his inspiration. In the scene of this one.
This is worse than Goatsy. And it's not even real. And so that's effective. Well, no, there's one more shot of Yoshimi, and she has a pile of, is that supposed to be Angel Rain on the counter?
Angel Rain was a yellow, urine-y liquid.
So why does she have a big pile of, Scarface powder on her desk?
Well, it starts as a powder. And then
I don't know.
Burn it like heroin into a spoon or something. I don't know.
Doesn't make any fucking sense. Why are we trying to figure out a date here?
I really want to have some Angel Rain at some point. I want to try this shit out.
Why? So you can be raped by us and a happy face on? I don't. Okay.
Oh, listen. If I had the Angel Rain, I'd be the one doing the raping. Okay.
Okay. Good to know.
Because next time he does the measurements, he wants to be there.
He's already
not the
handled
last
all
in
of
line.
us.
And so that effectively is the end of Entrails of a Beautiful Woman. It's one of my favorite movies ever. What do you guys think about it, Paul? Would you watch this again?
I actually did watch it a second time.
Mhm.
Kind of because did I really see that? Did that happen? Was it a
plot? Did I miss it?
It's such a short movie. Too.
Yeah, it's barely more than an hour.
Yeah, it's just about an hour long. And it's completely insane. And I was telling Gabe on the way over, I think I got the name of the site right. It's called Fandor. And you can watch it for free on there if you so desire.
It's also available from Synapse Pictures, synapse.com.
Well, let me reach into the mailbag. I think we got a fan letter.
It's amazing. We have yet to post the podcast, and we have 2 fan letters already.
I know. This one. Okay, you guys ready? I haven't read this one yet. Dear SchlockTalk, first off, I just want to say that I love the sound of Craig's voice. When I heard him sing, I mean speak, I imagined his velvety throat. It must be satin lined to have such rich, dulcet tones emanate from it. His golden pipes bring such pleasure to my tired ears. Wow. I think you got a fan here, Craig.
I'm feeling pretty good about this.
I hope
right
this
now.
isn't the same fan as last time.
Hope not. I like to read myself bedtime stories and imagine Craig's inviting lips speaking the words. And as he pauses between pages, I hand feed him a peeled grape. He lets it linger in my fingers as he gently sucks the juice out. His talented tongue tickles the ends of my digits before gingerly pulling the succulent fruit into the moist pink cavern of his mouth.
Even my dog's getting jealous.
And I have a request for you. Would you please ask him to read the enclosed haiku so that I might be able to replay it in an endless loop? My perky ears will listen intently while the rest of me surrenders in audio erotic bliss. Apparently they want you to read a haiku. Are you game, Craig?
Well, what's the haiku?
Came with a haiku.
I don't myself know any haikus offhand. My flesh, red and raw, my pleasure bounds, up in pain, happy is my heart. And that was it.
That was nice. Hey, well, I mean, that's all there is to the letter, and it's just signed Craig's mom.
I love you too, Mom. Thanks for being a fan of SchlockTalk. We all get Oedipus complex forever.
Oh my god. It's so weird that our fans seem so in tune with our podcast, considering it's not even on the internet yet. So strange.
So we never asked Alan's his interpretation of the movie. What
Alan,
think,
so
Alan?
would you watch this movie? Having not seen it, Alan, would you watch this movie?
I don't know.
Way to be committed.
It's a pussy answer, Alan.
At first I thought this...
of the woman sucking the big
I got the pictures up, and this...
Am I right? Blind moray eel?
Yeah. I thought it was broken, but that's clearly teeth. Fuck, if you're not being explained what this is, you're... clearly Japanese movie.
Yeah.
Are we sure?
And then there's a picture of a lady scar-facing it up, which looks like sugar.
Yeah.
Another picture of a girl rubbing a penis of a guy on a hospital bed.
Notice that only like her little 2 fingers can actually fit over it before the rest of her hand is finding empty air.
Yeah.
Are we sure that's not his belly button?
God, I hope so.
Yeah.
The next picture looks like a Play-Doh set.
That's the introductory screen for the DVD right there.
It's like a Play-Doh set where you fucked up.
Yeah.
And you push down on the head and brains come out.
Either that or a Pollock painting.
Yeah.
That's some Pollock.
I don't think this is meant to be realistic. It looks more abstract.
And all these pictures will be up on the website. We encourage you to drop by and make a we're going to have a caption contest. We'd love for our listeners to go onto the website and caption the pictures that we post there. These pictures will not be up on the Facebook page because we want to continue to have a Facebook page.
Right, and so, yeah, probably the website, I'm guessing, not too safe for work.
No,
Yes.
not at all.
No,
The,
depending on where you work.
Like the director of this movie, if you work at it.
The next
Sex
picture
shop.
is the knob turning scene.
Yes, fine-tuning that
He's
washboard.
turning her volume off.
Yeah.
He's clearly a conservative, and he's trying to get the radio station he needs. Rush Limbaugh.
That explains her facial expression.
So we'll finish up tonight. I have a wild pitch. It's our weekly feature of one of the crew here from SchlockTalk comes up with a movie to pitch to the audience, and to hopefully somebody in Hollywood will pick up the option for the film. We'll all become rich. You can continue to do the podcast. Anyway, so tonight I have a wild pitch. My wild pitch tonight is based on the reaction to the overt racism so often prevalent in slasher films over the last 30 years or so. We're kind of all familiar with the common trope of the lone black guy, African American gentleman, who's the token ethnic friend of the lily white quote heroes of the movie, and he's always the first victim of the slasher killer. In my movie, which has an all-black cast, they're set upon by a mad killer, and the first victim is the one token cracker, who is not only...
Is it a saltine?
Oh, yeah. Not only murdered and mutilated by the killer, but made to bow down before his prodigious black member before he is slaughtered, and serve his black master with a prolonged and uncomfortable mouth raping. Being as that's more or less the theme of this podcast.
So basically, one of the last scenes from Entrails of a Beautiful Woman.
Mostly, yeah. So my movie pitch is not only a rethinking of this all too common white devil narrative device, racist malapropism, but reparations, if you will, for decades of oppression of the black man in horror cinema.
Using too many large words, our audience is going to be lost.
Oh. By inverting the expectations that have been foisted on the sons and daughters of Africa, brought to this inhospitable land centuries ago by the white man, only to see the same sorts of destruction continue in the Jew-run media, even after slavery was allegedly outlawed. By inverting these expectations, my movie will effectively engender my Asiatic brothers and sisters to rise up and throw off the chains.
Did you say asthmatic brothers and sisters?
Wasn't this black people? Where did the Asiatics come from?
Throw off the chains of their oppressors and overthrow the existing power structures by any means necessary.
As long as we still show Mexicans picking cabbage in the field, I'm okay.
You just don't get it, Craig. Check your privilege, Craig.
Sounds like a Michael Bay film.
So the name of the
Are there
movie.
explosions?
The name of the movie. You better act somebody.
I want to laugh, but it's more out of pity than anything else.
68.
68 forever.
So don't forget to like us on Facebook, go to the website schlocktalk.com, and follow us on Twitter at schlocktalk.
Bye. We love you.
That's it.
We do.
Please listen
A
again.
lot. Please. 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 Please.